managing people in real estate. My wife had this great analogy when I was going through a particular valley a few years ago of how a business should be cared for like a baby. This is Foofy. This is my little plant. And it's a baby, right? You gotta take care of it, you gotta nurture it, give it water, sustenance. And that is really how you should treat a business, especially a real estate business. So I'm going to draw you through 3 different ways to do that. Number 1, candor. Number 2, understanding. And number 3, planning. So expressing candor. This is not something that I think we're used to in general. So it's just awkward at times, especially if you just got into management or you're maybe starting to manage your own real estate investment firm as a beginner, even down the line, intermediate, advanced. It's something that has to be flexed as a muscle on the regular. You know, having one-on-one sessions with your employees and things like this. Matter of fact, recently I had to tell one of my salespeople that, hey, your salary is going away because I haven't seen you close any deals recently. So you're going to 100% commission in a few weeks. And instead of, understandably so, being very concerned, pulling his hair, he actually was grateful. He said, okay, that makes sense. And, it's a hit or miss if people are going to react that way. But that's something you just can't control. You as a business owner, business manager, have results that you need to adhere to, and not telling that person that they're not hitting that bar is actually not doing a service for them. You're just allowing complacency to occur, allowing even a downward trajectory of your business to occur. Right? I mean, there was a few years ago another person I worked with, I told them this person on the team is not performing enough, or our sales forecast is not going to be able to support them if we keep them, so we should just let them go in 2 weeks. And they were like, no, they've been good to us, let's just keep on. And it ended up, like I said, affecting the sales, affecting the company, and it was just bleeding cash at that point. At that point I had to step my hand in to make the decision, the hard decision, because they couldn't. But that's something else you'll have to deal with as you grow too. If you have another manager, you have to manage them. And so, the interview process for that also needs to be strict in terms of what their experience level is. Are they going to let their emotions get in the way of, hey, they got a family? And of course, everybody has a family. But you have expectations to nurture that baby through to where it needs to grow to. You can't have an international corporation if you're on the first few months or first few years putting your baby into a steep decline intentionally. And again, like my example, who's to say they won't just take it well and just move on with their lives? Maybe they're not performing well because they don't actually like the work and they don't even want to be there, and you're just kind of nudging them to do what they naturally need to do next. So speaking of managing a person, there's another aspect of real estate specifically that just needs to be understood. Real estate is a very selfish business. I mean, you're working on a commission, right? So if you're a salesperson, you're going to want to go after things that protect your commission. And that may mean leaving you or not doing things that you need to hit your bottom lines, your goals in your company. And it's not personal to you. It's personal to your business because they're not reaching those goals. But that's just the way things are, So they may leave your company to get regular work, and that's just something that's going to happen. I understand that people want to take that personally, but again, it's no point. It's just drawing energy away from you, which brings me to the last point. Planning for longevity. So, especially if you have a higher standard for what you want in your company and the people around you, that's going to draw energy from not only you, them, and I mean, it requires that you yourself do greater and greater things. Also, motivate them on a morning by morning basis. Saying, I joked with one of my guys, like, hey, did you nap while I was taking a trip last week? Like, you should have been ahead of this stuff. And I know it was partially joking, but also partially serious. Like, I have high expectations for you. You did great things before. I want to see you do great things again. And let me see. Speaking of doing a high bar, I want to close and go into conclusion with this. There's something I've seen a lot in the real estate careers of other folks, even mine to some degree, where the person shames themselves because they haven't hit that bar. They think they're a bad person. They're down this downward spiral of, I haven't hit, $1 million in sales this year or this month, and so I'm a bad person. I'm going to shame myself, and that's going to motivate me. And that's just a recipe for a downward spiral. It's not going to be good for your household, and it's not going to be good for managing your team, especially if you're negatively acting out against your team. So I've seen that before too, and it is not good times. The way I personally handle when I'm not hitting that bar is I take a step back. In some cases where there's been intense conversations, I even take a nap in my car. Like it's that I've been able to get in touch with my emotions to where I'm not just going out and wanting to hit somebody in the face whenever something doesn't go my way. I instead go take a step back and lay down. And I mean, I've even done that couch over there before, because this business can be intense. And instead of me going rah 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 rah, toxic masculinity and hurting people to express my pain, I instead take a step back and realize, okay, if God does not will this, there must be something greater. If God has given me already so many X amount of blessings, why would He allow Y to happen? And what is happening on Z next? These variables, if you try to just drive through them instead of focusing on one thing, it's going to allow you to do greater and greater things, because you're not allowing one deal or one person to control the fate of your day. You're allowing, okay, there's room here. If I don't get my way here, it'll open up somewhere else. It's essentially idolizing an end result otherwise, right? If I don't get $1 million worth of sales in a month, my life is going to just go down the drain. And to be honest, that's just not realistic. It's not feasible. It's not going to have longevity in your business or even in your personal life. So have forgiveness on yourself if you're going through that moment of shaming yourself for not doing XYZ, because you'll get to XYZ in a roundabout way, but just keep on pushing forward. You make it happen. So in conclusion, let's go visit Fufi again one more time. Take care of that baby. That's what managing a business is all about. You can't grow a business on your own, and managing people is a part of that. So let me just recap. We went over Candor. We went over understanding that real estate is kind of an inherently selfish business. And lastly, plan for longevity. Alright, go take care of that baby. I hope it's also named Fufi or some other name. Alright, catch you later.